Good afternoon, my favorite students in the world. It's Ferdi with Event Photography 101. Yay! And today we're going to be answering this quick and easy question of how do we combat unwanted motion blur. So sometimes you're on the dance floor, you're at an event, you're capturing photos of your guests because they are our subjects most of the time, and you're getting a little bit of motion blur. It's just a little bit blurry, it's a little bit dull, it's a bit lame. So what do? How do we combat that? Well, number one, it starts with your intentions. If you don't have crystal clear intentions, you're probably going to get, if you've got blurry intentions, like gray, you don't really know what you want to capture, well, the photos will mirror that and mirror those intentions. So let's be clear of what we want to capture. If we want to freeze the action and snap our subjects while they're doing their bridal party games and all that jazz, and we want to capture them with crystal clear clarity, everyone's in focus and nicely sharp, there is no motion blur, well then in that case we're the director, and we're commanding the settings all around our camera to match up with that intention. So the big thing is shutter speed. Shutter speed is our huge, big, fat, juicy variable that we will change up and down, increase and decrease, to achieve the desired intention that we want. So ask yourself, what do I want? What story do I want to tell? Do you want to just capture your guests sharply and nicely, just like normal? Or do you want to capture some energy and emotion intentionally? That is the question. It depends on each shot that you're capturing, and it depends on your client's goals as well. Did you ask your clients prior to the event of what they're after and what they want and what they would love, right? And what they define as a successful photo and a successful photography service, and what they define as a successful photography album? Those answers will help dictate on what you need to prioritize with your intentions. If you've got blurry intentions, then look back further, and that starts with your guests. It starts with your clients and what they want. What are their goals? Do they want to look bougie on Instagram with some nice shutter drag effects? Well, in that case, we'll know to intentionally blur our photos. But if they just want normal photos, nice and sharp, not much motion blur at all, well, in that case, we know our intentions. We know how to set. We've got them set, and now we're going to use them to set our settings. Wow. I might need to increase my vocabulary there. So let's jump into number two. How do we freeze the action? Freeze the action. Well, it's all about shutter speed for both, okay? Shutter speed, my friends. We want to quicken it, fasten it, increase the speed, crank it up. Now, rule of thumb is around 1/400th. Let me write this one down. 1/400th of a second. So 1/400th of a second. That's the shutter speed. So when we're looking down here, as you can see right here, 1/400th of a second. Capturing it around this range means we can easily capture normal human movements. Okay? Wow. Sorry, guys. Normal is walking around, standing, gossiping, etc. So just walking, gossiping, all that jazz. Yeah, so go fast, especially if you're outside. Now, if you're inside and you're using a flash, well then most often than not, that your quickest shutter speed you can use stereotypically would be 1/250 or 1/200, 1/200th of a second with flash. Most of the times, sometimes you can use high speed sync, which is a function of the flash, which means you can go even faster with the shutter speed, and that will help with freezing the action. So as long as you understand this principle, if you want to freeze the action, you need to really quicken up that shutter speed, so it's just that window of time, that window in your lens is just really quick. It is amazingly quick. Now, if we want to intentionally slow down time, so let's go over here. Ooey gooey motion, that's another way to say it. Let's slow down time. How? We decrease the speed. Decrease the speed. Make it slow. So let's talk about 1/30, 1/30th of a second. This is going to introduce motion blur with people moving around. In this range, it may not look great. It depends on how fast your subjects are moving. If they're running and sprinting and you want to just capture some motion of that action, then 1/30th of a second might create a really nice piece of artwork right here. But if our people are just moving around, like at a desk or around the drinks, around the venue, etc., it's going to make the photos look unprofessional, just simply because there's motion blur, and it's just like, it's in the in-between stage. It's in no man's land, right? We don't want to be in no man's land. We have our crystal clear intentions because our clients gave us their goals and desires. We know what they want, right? We don't want to be in no man's land. So we're either going fast, super fast, so 1/400th of a second for normal stuff, or 1/200th, or even 1/4000th for like really, really fast stuff. It's like bullet time and capturing water droplets flying through the air, etc. But with the ooey gooey motion and slowing down time, we're going slow. We want to avoid that gray zone, that no man's land. So 1/30th of a second, yeah, it's pretty good. We're getting closer, but it should really be, especially if you're using a flash. I'd like to go 1/8, 1/8 of a second. And mind you, I'm going to put in flash. So there's a few techniques here, but I'll just quickly go over flash. When you're on the dance floor, or when you want to capture some shutter drag, depending on the settings you're using, I'm using front curtain sync. And so basically what that means is when I press the shutter, what's happening? The flash is going off first. It's popping off and it's illuminating our subjects really nicely. And then after that, the window, our shutter, is still open after that. It's still open for another 1/8 of a second. Does that make sense? And during that 1/8 of a second window, we're capturing the motion of people walking around and dancing and cheering and gossiping and partying. So that's what I usually do on the dance floor. Now, if I want to slow down motion without a flash, well then you can just simply not use a flash and capture motion. But if you want to get a subject a little bit more clear and have them separated from the background, well then if they're moving at a certain pace, you want to match and mirror that speed, that pace, so that when you do slow down time and slow down that shutter, you click the shutter button, you're moving in sync with your subject. And when you move in sync with your subject, when that window is open, it means that the subject in the frame is going to pretty much stay in that same position inside the frame. And they're going to come out a little bit sharper. However, the background and all of the elements moving around them and in front of them, such as foreground, balloons, leaves, and trees in the background, etc., people running around, they're going to come across and blur into our canvas. Moving elements will blur into our canvas. Yeah, and so that's pretty much it. I hope you understand the principles here, and that is, we don't want blurry intentions, okay? To combat unwanted motion blur, we need to set our intentions straight from the beginning, and we need to ask our clients always what they want, what they really, really want, what they love and what they desire and what they want to show off and use. Those will help us as event photographers determine what settings we will use, what gear we will use, what flashes we will use, if any. And then once we have those intentions right, then we can freeze the action and slow down time when we want to, and when it's appropriate, and when it fits the vision of your client and your vision for the album as well, because it's not just theirs, it's your product and experience too. So freeze the action, go fast, and you will cut out a lot of that unwanted motion blur. But then when you want to bring it back into play and you want to capture some arty-farty photos, slow down time and don't avoid the no man's land gray area in the middle, because that's where you get more of unprofessional shots, like 1 over 60, 1 over 80, 1/60th of a second, 1/80th of a second, 1/50th of a second, if we're capturing people just moving at a normal pace at events. So avoid that. It helps. Shout out if you have any questions. I love you lots, and make sure to have fun at your events. Ooze the confidence, ooze your ethereal light, and warm them up from the inside. Use your physical light and your ethereal light, and you'll be good. So, see you next time. Love you lots. Bye.